Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. And today I have a review on Scipio Africanus. Scipio is mostly used as a Roman cavalry commander, although he can use all of his skills with infantry as well. Scipio's first skill is Warcry. It reduces the morale of nearby enemies. It can be upgraded to do even more morale damage, and even to reduce the opponent's defense. Fortunately or unfortunately, the morale damages don't seem to stack. This skill basically helps you rout your opponents. It can do a lot of good, especially when you're flanking. For the second skill we have the Wrath of Mars. It's 5 seconds long charge with some movement speed and charge impact bonus. I think it is the longest charge in the game. With upgrades you can even increase the duration of the charge by an extra second. It can be also upgraded to give extra impact damage and acceleration. You can activate it from a rather far distance. And for the last skill we have the Oath of Preservance. It increases your melee defense, charge deflect and gives you a lot of morale. It used to be stronger, but it can still be upgraded to be rather strong, with extra defense, charge deflect, recharge time and even morale. It is kinda like the opposite of Germanicus' Vengeance. Instead of the offense it gives you a lot of defense. So let's head into the gameplay. As you can see, the game has been going for a few minutes, and I have just been looking for a great position to use my cavalry to the best of my abilities. Unfortunately, I haven't played cavalry for a long while, so I might be a bit rusty. With Scipio, I usually try to spread a bit. Usually not as much as I do here, but still. I don't want to stack my units, nor do I want to put them side by side. If anything should happen, the Scipio has a lot of defense compared to most other cavalries. Plus the Oath of Preservance can help me postpone my death. So I'm doing little pokes, checking what's going on. That cavalry back there is just waiting, because the other side is totally defenseless. I will use it to swarm the opponents from the side back there, but for now I'm just poking and looking around. The main thing with cavalry is that you don't have to engage right away. You can hold up for a right moment. You can always try to harass and poke with the cavalry, because you're highly mobile compared to most other infantry. Although when going cavalry against cavalry, you should probably have a rather good chance with Scipio. Because I have such a huge gap between my units, I often have to switch between them to see what's going on. So right now, I don't want to pull this unit out from here, because if these barbarians here are gonna flank my swordsmen, I can go in for help. But then again, I always have to switch between units quite often actually if they're at this type of distance. Simply because a lot of things can change in a few seconds. So soon I'm going to go in with that single unit, but first I want to make sure I have an advantage. So I'm going close, he's throwing his javelins, okay, I don't mind that. I'm just waiting for him to use his charge, which he did, so now I have even a better moment to charge into him. But unfortunately, since I'm switching between my troops, I kinda let that moment slip away, so I will be charging into those other units. Still not bad though. Awareness of the surroundings can be rather hard-thing, especially on different locations. So I charged in, I pulled back out, because I'm just harassing him. I don't want to engage him because my troops are fighting, I want to keep them away. But then again I don't want to go too far. And now it gets hard. With those two units back there, I will try to use them to counter my opponents. I leave one in the forest, just in case, and I'm going to send the other one in. But at the same time, I need to pay attention what's going on in the east. So I have to switch between my targets. I'm sending that one in for the archers. I need to be aware of what's going on. Although, in the end, it still doesn't work out for me. As you can see, there are barbarians back there in the forest who swarmed my main unit. Fortunately, my unit kept them from aiding their main force, which meant that now we are swarming them here. We took down their archers, we are messing with them. They will give a shot trying to come close and do something, but we are already swarming them, so there isn't much they can do and they have to disengage. I'm guessing that my dead cavalry unit bought us some time to finish off these archers and for our troops to move in, so they had to finish it off and could not make it to their archers' support. Because of the Romans' cavalry strength, I can actually hold some opponents in place with Scipio. As you see right here, I charge into my opponent, engaging them, forcing them to engage me, and waiting for my team members to come close because I'm holding them. Although they are trying to kill me, they can't do it as fast because my team members are moving into my position. So the opponent realizes he has to disengage, and while he's disengaging I can hunt him down or damage him at least when he's disengaging. So the barbarians are faster than Romans and they will make their distance between us. And as you can see, it is already kind of happening. The swordsmen can't keep up with them and I'm trying to damage them the best I can. It's actually best if you can use Scipio as a flanker. He can go head on in some situations, but usually it's best if you come in from the rear of the opponents, damaging them and activating the war cry if you see that their morale is low. Or if you don't think you can rout them but can still do some damage, you can use the war cry's defense reduction, just to give you a bit extra chances against the opponents. I personally play Scipio a bit spread out. This is a bit extreme example because here I was spread out a lot. I was practically on 2 different sides of the map. I usually don't go that far, but I just thought I might support my team members on this side a bit and wait for the opponents to try and engage from that side. In the end, I guess it still kinda worked out. You don't have to play like I do. I mostly just wait for the right moment to use my units. You can try to poke, you can try to harass, you can try to do different things. I just wait for the opening and then I start doing my thing. I usually evaluate the situation, if it's worth for me to go in, if it's worth for me to harass them. I'm guessing that the first 2 skills of Scipio are rather simple to understand, but the Oath of Preservance can be hard to use. If you don't know how to use it properly, you can just pop it when you feel that there are too many opponents around you or that they're going to swarm you. With Oath of Preservance you get melee defense, charge, deflect and morale. These can help you a lot if you are in a situation you know you can't get out of. Actually, the Oath of Preservance can be activated rather simply. The opponents just need to disengage you for 5 seconds. After what, the Oath of Preservance will deactivate, you will get back your movement speed and control over your abilities. In short, Oath of Preservance is a skill you want to use when you are engaged, when you know that the opponent is engaging you, so that you get a lot of defense boost. There are some situations when I flank and I use it, simply because the opponents switch their target. They switch from their original target towards me, meaning that I am their focus right now, and there are 2 things you can do in those situations. With Scipio I usually pop the Oath of Preservance if I have it. Otherwise I would disengage, that way either forcing the opponent to chase me down or turn around back towards the original target, giving me another chance to come in from the rear and that way losing a lot of morale by switching targets. Another location where players use it is when Cavalry is versus Cavalry. You pop the Oath of Preservance and you just stay there. I usually don't pop it on all, I pop it like on 1 or 2 if I'm in that type of situation. Or when I see that the opponent is activating their own Oath of Preservance rather soon, I will disengage and re-engage. After what, their Oath of Preservance will be off and I can activate mine if I need to. It's an interesting skill with lots of ways to use it. I don't suggest using it when you're hunting down archers or slingers or something, because they will definitely outrun you for those 5 seconds. And I really don't think you need that much of a defense towards some range units you can hunt down with no problem. Scipio is an interesting commander. He can work out rather well, his skills are rather strong, but they require a lot of tactical placement. The best things I can suggest is for to find an openings, find the ways to attack the opponents from the sides or the rear, because Scipio is an excellent flanker. He is someone who can stay in flanking if he has to. He's someone who can deal with a lot of things. But as usual, don't go against any spear or pikemen, they will eat you alive. I don't suggest going into the forest because you get usually more debuffs than buffs back there, and that terrain will make you a lot slower. So the basics with Scipio is always try to flank. That is the overall basic of the cavalry, try to flank if you can. With Scipio you can stay in a bit longer because of the heavy defense that the Roman units have. You can harass your opponents, you can toy with them, you can just hunt them down, you can try and hold them engaged until your team members arrive to finish them off. There are so many ways you can use him, his skills are rather strong. Oath of Preservance and War Cry can be rather hard to use, but in a situations where you're flanking you can use the War Cry just to lower your opponent's defense if you want to. You can always check the opposing units by left clicking on them to see what's their morale, when would be the right time to use the War Cry, or you can just check out if the enemies are engaging you and you should use the Oath of Preservance. I personally find Scipio hard to play every now and then. He's somewhat simple because of the heavy defense that the Roman cavalry has, but to use the auto preservance and the war cry at the very right moments is rather hard. I hope this video gave some insight about Scipio. You don't have to spread him, you can stack him if you want to for the impact damage, but because of its strengths I usually spread him. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.